Before we begin, if you enjoy honest celebrity breakdowns, real reactions, and emotional storytelling, please support this channel by liking this video, subscribing, and commenting your thoughts below. Your support helps us keep bringing you the stories everyone is talking about. Now let's get into it. Have you ever watched a situation become so tense that even the people in the room did not know what to do next? That is exactly what fans are saying happened in this shocking love and hip-hop drama involving Bambi, Mendeecees Harris, and Yandy Smith. And let's be very clear from the start. A lot of what is being discussed online is based on reports, fan reactions, and alleged moments that people claim happened. Not everything has been fully confirmed, but one thing is obvious. The story has taken over social media, and fans cannot stop talking about it. What started as a tense conversation reportedly turned into an emotional confrontation. And by the end of it, people were left asking the same question. What really happened in that room? According to the talk going around online, the energy was already uncomfortable before anyone even raised their voice. You know those moments when people are sitting together, but the silence is louder than the words. That was the feeling fans described. The room was not calm, it was heavy. People were looking around. Some were avoiding eye contact. Others seemed like they knew something was about to explode, but nobody wanted to be the first person to say it. And then Bambi spoke. At first, it reportedly was not even about screaming. It was the tone. It was the confidence. It was the way she seemed like she had been holding something in for too long. She did not appear confused. She did not appear unsure. She seemed like someone who had already made up her mind. And when she finally said what was on her chest, the whole room allegedly changed. Mendeecees, according to reports, tried to stay calm, but fans noticed something. They say his body language shifted. His face got tighter. His jaw looked tense. His reaction did not feel casual. It felt like he knew the conversation had entered dangerous territory. And that is when things became serious. Bambi reportedly made it clear that she was tired of silence. She was tired of people pretending. She was tired of acting like certain things were not happening. And that line alone hit hard. Because sometimes, in messy situations, the biggest problem is not only what happened. The bigger problem is how long people stayed quiet about it. That is what made this moment so intense. Bambi was not just arguing. She sounded like she was exposing frustration that had been building for a long time. Mendeecees allegedly warned her that she needed to be careful. He reportedly told her that she was crossing a line. But Bambi did not back down. And that is where fans are divided. Some people believe Bambi was brave for speaking up. They feel she had every right to say what she felt, especially if she believed people had been ignoring the truth. But others believe the moment went too far. They say some conversations should not happen in front of cameras, cast members, and emotional people. And honestly, that is why this story has become so messy. Because both sides have a point. Speaking your truth can be powerful, but the place, the timing, and the way it comes out can change everything. Now let's talk about Yandy. Yandy Smith's reaction may be one of the most talked about parts of the entire situation. According to fans, Yandy looked caught in the middle. She was not just watching drama. She looked emotionally trapped between people she cared about and a situation she could not control. Reports say she tried to calm things down. She raised her hands. She stepped closer. She reportedly told them this was not the place for that kind of conversation. But Bambi was not trying to hear that. And that is when the room became even more uncomfortable. Because when someone is finally ready to speak after holding something in, telling them to calm down can sometimes make things worse. Bambi reportedly felt like this was exactly the time and place to speak. She seemed to believe that if she stayed quiet again, nothing would ever change. And that is a feeling many people understand. Sometimes people do not explode because of one moment. They explode because of 10 moments, 20 moments, years of moments that were ignored. That is the emotional part of this story. It was not just about anger, it was about being tired. Mendeecees reportedly became more frustrated as the conversation continued. He allegedly told Bambi she was being reckless and hurting people. But Bambi's response, according to the online discussion, was basically that maybe she was not causing the hurt, maybe she was exposing it. That one idea is what made fans start choosing sides. Was Bambi creating drama? Or was she revealing drama that was already there? That is the question. As the confrontation continued, Yandy reportedly became more emotional. Fans say her eyes filled with tears and she looked overwhelmed. She seemed like someone trying to hold together a situation that was already falling apart. And that is not easy. Because when two people are locked into an argument, the person in the middle often gets hurt too. Yandy allegedly kept saying this was not the way to handle it, but by that point, the situation had already gone too far. Nobody could simply laugh it off. Nobody could pretend everything was normal. The energy had changed, and once certain words are said out loud, you cannot put them back. That is what makes this whole moment feel so serious. Fans say there was a point where Mendeecees moved forward and the whole room reacted. Some people reportedly got nervous. Others shifted in their seats. There were whispers in the background. Nobody knew where things were going. And even if nothing physical happened, the emotional tension was enough to make everyone uncomfortable. Sometimes the scariest part of an argument is not what happens. It is what almost happens. That feeling of somebody needs to step in before this gets worse can shake a whole room. And that is what viewers believe they were seeing. But Bambi still did not back down. She reportedly stood firm and made it clear she was not scared of the consequences. That line matters because it shows she was not speaking randomly. She seemed prepared for whatever came next. And that is why fans believe this confrontation was not just a sudden argument. They believe it was the result of deeper tension. The kind of tension that does not appear overnight. The kind that builds behind closed doors. The kind that finally shows itself when somebody gets tired of pretending. Now, some fans are saying Bambi should have handled it privately. They believe public confrontations can damage relationships beyond repair. Once cameras are rolling and people are watching, emotions become even more dangerous. Others disagree. They say private conversations only work when people actually listen. And if someone feels ignored for too long, maybe public honesty becomes the only way to be heard. Again, this is why the internet is split. Because this story is not simple. It is emotional. It is messy. And it involves people who clearly have history. As the room reportedly started to calm down, it did not feel peaceful. It felt like the storm had passed, but the damage was still there. Bambi allegedly looked around and pointed out how quiet everyone became. And that silence said a lot. Because sometimes silence is not peace. Sometimes silence is fear. Sometimes silence is guilt. Sometimes silence means everyone knows something is wrong, but nobody wants to admit it. That appears to be what Bambi was trying to say. Mendeecees reportedly responded that not everything needs to be said in that way. And that is also a serious point. Because truth can be real, but delivery still matters. You can be honest and still hurt people. You can speak facts and still create damage. You can expose something and still leave the room broken. That is the complicated part. Yandy reportedly looked emotionally exhausted. She seemed like she wished the moment had never happened like that. And honestly, that reaction felt human. Because sometimes people are not upset that the truth came out. They are upset by how painfully it came out. There is a difference. The truth can heal, but the way it is revealed can also cut deep. By the end of the confrontation, nothing seemed fully solved. There was no clean apology, no simple ending, no one walking away as the clear winner. Instead, the room was left with tension, questions, and unfinished emotions. And that may be why fans are still talking about it. Because this did not feel like a normal reality TV argument. It felt like a breaking point, a moment where people stopped pretending, a moment where private pain became public pressure, a moment where relationships may have changed forever. Now the biggest question is, what happens next? Will Bambi stand by everything she said? Will Mendeecees explain his side? Will Yandy finally speak on how she really felt being caught in the middle? And most importantly, was this just one heated argument, or was it the beginning of something much bigger? Because if there is one thing we know about situations like this, it is that the first viral moment is rarely the last. Once fans start digging, every look, every pause, every old clip, and every comment gets analyzed. People start connecting dots. Some dots may be real, some may be exaggerated, but the conversation only gets louder. And right now, fans want answers. They want to know what Bambi meant. They want to know why Mendeecees reacted so strongly. They want to know why Yandy looked so shaken. And they want to know what was really happening behind the scenes before this confrontation ever took place. Because emotional reactions like that usually do not come from nowhere. Something had to build up. Something had to push the moment to that level. And until the people involved explain it clearly, fans will keep debating. So now I want to hear from you. Do you think Bambi went too far? Or do you think she finally said what needed to be said? Was Mendeecees trying to protect himself? Or was he just reacting to the pressure? And how do you feel about Yandy being stuck in the middle of all of this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Because this is one of those stories where every fan sees it differently. Some see Bambi as strong. Some see her as messy. Some feel bad for Yandy. Some think Mendeecees knows more than he is saying. But one thing is clear, this situation is not over. If new details come out, fans will be watching closely. And so will we. Before you go, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you do not miss the next update. Because when drama this intense hits the internet, the truth usually comes out piece by piece. And this story may only be getting started.